Before we begin the video, I have a question that I want to ask you guys, and it's kind of a poll. Imagine if there were a game developer who was about to come out with a game that's almost finished, not quite there, but almost finished. Not finished, meaning that the game is at 30 FPS, and that's the only thing that they're working on. They're determined that they're going to wait for the game to come out at 60 FPS. They put out a demo, a 1 hour non-replayable demo. And when it's out, the demo becomes all the rage. Everybody is talking about how great this game is. This game is a mix between Star Citizen, Starfield, Mass Effect, and No Man's Sky. It's like all those games got together and they had an orgy, and the game that the company is about to come out with is the result. The game is just fantastic. It's unbelievable. Like I said, it's all the rage. There's not hardly one person saying anything negative about the game, and even the people who are saying negative things about the game love the game. They're just saying how they would like certain things to be different. That's it. But other than that, everyone agrees that this game is insanely great, but it runs at 30 FPS. People start complaining about the demo, the fact that you can't replay it. They're just like, this is crazy. This is like giving someone a drug and getting them addicted, and then you don't want to give them any more drugs. This is crazy. The company shouldn't have done this. The company just starts getting all kinds of backlash about the 1 hour non-replayable demo. So the company comes out and they make a statement. Say, look guys, we're glad you guys love the game. We're really glad. We're so happy around the studio. Unbelievably happy. Here's the deal, guys. The game is ready to release right now at 30 FPS. We can release the game right now at 30 FPS, and the entire game will run exactly the way your 1 hour demo ran. The entire game is optimized just like that, and it runs at 30 FPS. We can release the game at 60 FPS, but it's going to take approximately a year, give or take, to get it to run properly at a consistent 60 FPS. Not just 60 FPS fluctuating. We want it to run 60 consistent. We're going to put a poll out, guys. You guys tell us what you want. We're going to let you guys, the gamers, vote for it. I have a question for you guys, the people who are listening to this video right now. I have two, actually. Number one, how do you think most gamers would vote? And number two, if you don't mind, you don't have to. If you don't mind, tell me how you would vote. Would you vote to wait? And just try to be honest, okay? Just really think about it. Just imagine that you just played this game and you just really loved it, right? Just try to use your imagination. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, spoiler alert with me, I think most gamers would end up saying put the game out right now if presented with a situation like that. But tell me, how do you think most gamers will vote? And if you don't mind, tell me how you would vote. What's going on, my people? Originally, I was not going to comment on the whole thing surrounding Starfield and the new improvements that's coming and the new assets to come, well, reworked assets and some assets such as vehicles and things of that nature. And I think there's probably some things that they probably haven't even announced yet that's going to be coming up pretty soon. And we know that this game is not going to look the same 2 years from now. We know how Bethesda rolls. They make these very complex games that you can play several times and have a different experience each time. They're just these gigantic worlds that they make. So we all know this. And we also know that Bethesda has a method of keeping their games out there in front of the gaming public. They keep their games relevant. Even their older games, they keep relevant. So we know that they're going to do the exact same thing with Starfield. The funny thing about it is that a lot of these things that's coming to Starfield, I've seen people in the comment sections on my video claiming they can't do the same thing because the coding is so jacked up, they can't do it. They're just going to have to just leave it the way that it is. I even had a couple of people to laugh at me when I said that possibly things like vehicles were coming. And you have to excuse me if you hear like a motorcycle or something like that. I'm outside right now. I'm away from home. But I did want to chime in on this subject just briefly. Now, the thing with the whole 60 frames. Look, I've told you guys several times, I rarely ever buy games on launch. And if 60 FPS is your thing and you're on the console especially, you need to get into the habit of not feeling like you have to buy these games on launch day. Now, you've heard me say a couple of times, these games, regardless of what they say, they're not ready in 5 years. They're ready They're not ready in 5 to 6 years. They're ready in 7 to 8 years. Because if a game was to drop today, you would get the perfect version of that game anywhere from 1 to 2 years from now. Is that a good thing? Of course it's not. Should they wait a little while? Because a lot of these games would drop at 30 and then just a matter of months later, they're running at 60. They'll talk at first like, they just can't get it done. And then a few months later, they're running at 60. So this has become an industry standard. We've all seen this. So that's the reason why I'm kind of tripping a little bit at how everyone is acting so shocked. Like this is shocking news that Starfield is now going to run at 60 FPS. And I think that some people are a little bit upset because they've invested a lot of time online, whether it be YouTube and Twitter or whatnot, saying that they could never get it to run at 60 because the coding is so jacked up. They just won't be able to do it. The game is just broken. It's trash. They can't do it. They have to walk away from it, right? There have been people who've actually been saying things like that. But when it comes to the whole FPS thing, I do agree that they should wait because of the fact that these games always come out a few months later. I think the longest is probably about a year later. And suddenly this game they couldn't get to run at 60 FPS is now running at 60 FPS. So, and look, we have to also wait to see what most people are going to choose. Are you going to be, because I think a study came out that said that when people, a lot of times on these games, even when they make it where you can choose to play at 60 FPS, some people opt not to do it because they don't like the way the game plays. So we have to see that too. We have to see, look, when you set Starfield to run at 60, are you going to be pleased with it? Are you going to like the way it runs? Me personally, I played Starfield with no problem at 30 FPS. Now, I liked it a lot better in first person. The third person to me was not awful, but it wasn't near as smooth as first person. So I usually play in first person on the console. But come on, man. I mean, we're not going to act shocked here. I mean, we got games that it has become the industry standard for games to drop to the point where they're broken. And we're talking about beloved games where people are going online. So there's no nefarious motive to attack these games. These games really have to be broken and trashed like these people are saying that they are. We've got The Last of Us, the PC version. That game stayed broken for months. In fact, it may have stayed broken for about a year. I remember someone released an article saying that they finally fixed it. It was like a long time. And I remember thinking, wow, they're just now fixing that? Because I would have thought that they had, they'd been fixed it. Because like I said, usually they drop them in a bad state. And it's not, when I say a bad state, I'm not just talking about FPS. I'm talking about the game is trash, unplayable. People were making memes off of The Last of Us, the PC version. So it was that Star Wars Survivor. Man, that game people were really excited about that game. I kept checking on that game because I wanted to buy it. I haven't purchased it yet. Again, that's the advantage of not buying games on launch day. Now, in the last 3 years, I've purchased 2 games on launch day. One was when Spider-Man came to the PC, and the other one was Starfield. I purchased Starfield on launch day because I had been covering it a whole lot, and I felt like, hey, look, it's only right that I purchase the game and show what the game is running like. I purchased it, I was a part of that week early crowd. So I wanted to show the people who had been subscribing to my channel to hear information about Starfield. I wanted to be able to show them what it ran like on launch day. And it ran just great for me. I didn't run into any glitches. I still have not ran into any game-breaking glitches. Even after all this time, I've been able to play all of the stories, all of the side missions, everything. That's on both Xbox and the PC. So that's been my experience. But there are games that are launched broken. Like I just said, I just gave 2 examples. They're not the only ones. I'm not just picking on them. But this has become an industry standard. I can understand being upset about a game just being straight up broken. But what I don't get is people acting shocked that a game is going to improve certain things like FPS. They're going to take a map that was garbage because Starfield's map was garbage. They're going to take a map that was garbage. They're going to improve that. Look, there are going to be a lot more improvements coming to this game. And some of them aren't necessarily going to be things that are bad, but they're going to be things that are going to be added to the game. And then on top of that, they're going to improve certain things that maybe even some things that people haven't been complaining about. That's just become an industry standard now. Let me go back to the FPS thing for just a moment. Even I, as a person who strongly believes that gamers should stop pre-ordering games, gamers should these days wait maybe a week or two for a game to be checked out, because now we've gotten to the point where a game will release, it will be reviewed well, and then we'll find out 2 weeks later that the game runs horribly. So now we're looking at some of the most trusted reviewers. Well, I'll be honest with you, not trying to make it seem like I'm some sort of genius or not, but a lot of these people who are selling out in their reviews, it doesn't surprise me. I haven't trusted those people in quite some time. But the ones that I do listen to, they're still standing true. And they're the type of reviewers that sometimes these developers don't want to give a code to. But anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked here. Now back on point. Even I, as a person, as a gamer who believes, like I just said, don't pre-order, be patient, wait. If you have a long backlog, sometimes learn to exercise some super patience, man. Just wait on the game to go on sale. These companies are still getting rich even when you buy those games on sale. If they weren't still getting rich, they take it off the market. They take it off the store. They wouldn't even bother to have it on there. They're still getting rich. Even though I do believe that development companies should wait that extra 6 to 8 months on average to get the game up to 60 FPS. As a gamer, I believe that. If it ever became a day where I was an investor and I was investing a lot of money in a game and I was looking forward to some great returns on the game after it released, me knowing what I know about this industry in the gaming community, my view would be this. Is the game full of glitches? No. Does the game run well enough to enjoy it at 30 FPS? Yes. I would be one of those investors that's right there in line to vote to release it at 30 FPS, because I know I would look at it from a business perspective. I would know that people are going to go out and buy this game in droves. They're going to play it. They're going to enjoy it. They're going to be YouTubers making gameplay videos of the game. And yes, there are going to be that small pocket of people who are going to be complaining about the game running at 30 FPS and how consoles suck and how the gaming companies that have consoles lied to us about the consoles like they always have. But meanwhile, I would make my money back and more. I would make a small fortune. I would not try to go in and cause chaos when we have the meeting. I don't even think they have meetings anymore. I just think it's just a standard. It's an understanding that, look, if these games are running well and they're still selling well at 30 FPS, I don't want to wait 5 or 6 to 8 more months for you to get it to 60 FPS on the console. If it runs right and it's not loaded with glitches, if a gamer can play it and enjoy it, release it then. I need my money then. I don't want to wait, because for them, seeing it through their lens, it's like they're waiting for nothing. If releasing the game at 30 FPS caused them not to make money, guess what? You would not be getting games released at 30 FPS only to be not released, but upgraded to 60 FPS a few months later. That wouldn't happen. But the reason that it happens is because the gaming community keeps saying with their wallet, they don't care what you say with your mouth, they keep saying with their wallet, this is fine. Release it at 30 FPS. We're going to give you our money. We're going to bitch and complain about it. And then when you make it 60 FPS later, we're going to act shocked. We're going to wonder why you just didn't make it 60 FPS before. When we know the answer, it's easier for them to make it 30 FPS. It takes a little bit more time to bring it up to 60 FPS. When we're lucky, that's the only problem, not the only problem, but the biggest major problem with the game, if we're lucky. In other words, the game just has a few glitches. Most people can play it. Most people can enjoy it. It runs at 30 FPS. When we're lucky, the big issue is the FPS issue. Now, there are a lot of games, including some beloved games, that release with some of them released at 60 FPS, but they had a whole lot of other issues and people couldn't enjoy the game. Those games are releasing in 5 to 6 years. And then you look around, sometimes Obviously, when you take a look at Star Wars Survivor, when you take a look at The Last of Us, that was kind of unusual. Those games took almost a year, somewhere between a year and a year and a half, to finally get to a point where people were willing to say that the game was playing in a great state. That was a little unusual. But all of this happens because you're speaking with your wallet. So it's okay to blame these companies. It's okay to blame Todd Howard and throw knives at Todd Howard. But at the same time, it's not just their fault. They're doing it because they can still make money if they do it. Each and every time. That's all they care about. By the way, the name of the DLC coming out for Starfield is Shattered Space. I'm getting old. But anyway, as I was saying, take, for example, Ghost of Tsushima coming to PC. I think it's the 15th this month, 16th, something like that. Anyway, sometime in the middle of this month, it's coming out. Now, I'm going to double dip on that, even though I finished it on the PlayStation. It is a great game. It's going to be the director's cut. I thought about, getting the extra content and all that, but now I don't have to get it. It's going to be the director's cut. It's going to run better. It's going to look better. Everything's going to be better. I am fiending for this game. This game, to me, and I said it in another video, as far as I'm concerned, it is the best game that PlayStation ever made as far as their top tier games. That's my opinion. Do I like God of War? Do I like their other games? Yeah, I do. But it's just, I never invested so much time in those games as I did. Now, the first God of War, well, the one before the last one, before Ragnarok, yeah, I got addicted to that one. But not quite the way I got addicted to Ghost of Tsushima. I wasn't at home really thinking about God of War. I wasn't at work, rather, thinking about God of War or how I was going to play God of War when I got home. Not even the first one, I wasn't. Even though I liked the game a whole lot, I did not put all other games to the side to play God of War before Ragnarok. Ghost of Tsushima, everything else got put to the side. I didn't play anything else while I was playing Ghost of Tsushima. I started Ghost of Tsushima, and Ghost of Tsushima was the only game that I was playing until I finished. That is extremely rare for me. The only other games I've ever done that with is a few games out of the Gears of War series. Not even Halo did I do that with. But I am not going to pre-order that game. I'm not going to do it. I don't need to do it. I'm pretty sure that it's going to come out running well. I would bet money on it. But I am not going to pre-order it. I'm going to make sure that it's going to come out running well. I'm going to check with my trusted sources to make sure that it drops optimized. I don't need to pre-order it. It is going to be there when I am ready to purchase it. So that's all I want to say, guys. Look, go ahead and chime in down in the comment section and tell me what you think. And as usual, do what you always do. Just stay respectful. Other than that, guys, that'll probably be, excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied. That will probably be the last video, other than maybe some gameplay video for the rest of this week. I know I've been putting out videos at a lot slower pace than I used to, but that's just changing schedule, and that's just how it's going to be for a while. And plus, like I said, the YouTube algorithm is funny. Sometimes it's really friendly, sometimes it's not. When I first really started putting out videos for the channel, it was very favorable towards me. And I just thought that's the way it was always going to be. And then YouTube showed me different. But anyway, guys, tell me what you think down in the bottom. I look forward to hearing all of your opinions. And don't forget to answer the question that I asked at the beginning of this video if you would like to. I'd be really interested to know what you have to say. Anyway, guys, later on, and have a safe weekend.